Hello there, and thank you for joining me as I discuss comparing a game versus non-game approach for plant provenance public education. My name's Craig. This is a joint work with Dr. Savi Maharaj, Professor Alistair Rutherford, and Dr. Glyn Jones. Before diving into the experiment itself, I'd like to start with why plant provenance in educating the public matters. Plants, hereafter meaning trees and plants, can bring pests and pathogens with them when imported to a country. The recent introduction of one such pathogen in the United Kingdom, ash dieback, prompted the UK government to focus more on engaging the general public to help protect the country from other future potential invasive pests and pathogens. Introducing serious games to tree and plant health public education is a novel approach. We have positioned our research to compare information that may be presented via leaflets or similar media in the context of a game and without a game. We are specifically interested in exploring whether the game or non game context has any impact on the ability of the participant to learn the information we present. Our previous work indicated that perceived levels of enjoyment by the participant had an impact on their performance. So we look at enjoyment in the round as well. But we're also interested in the longer term retention of the information we present, as the participant may actually learn it some weeks before they need to use it. Therefore, we have a two-phase structure in the experiment, with phase 2 being introduced 3 weeks after phase 1. Phase 1 of our experiment uses an HTML5 application, which we developed using Unity 3D. And phase 2 uses a survey platform, onlinesurveys.ac.uk. We have 4 sets of information in the experiment that the participant must engage with and learn from. And we have some rules around those sets. For example, each information set must be read at least once, but the participant can read each set as many times as they like. And for the sets, each one has a combination of text and pictures, and crucially, there's no difference in content between the game and non-game contexts. And our sets cover plant provenance and 3 threats that we have interest in. One, the oak processionary moth, has unfortunately already arrived in the United Kingdom. 2 others, the emerald ash borer and the pathogen Xylella fastidiosa, have not yet arrived, thankfully, so we wish to educate on what the impact could be if they did. And our experiment, as we say, is structured into a game and non-game strand, but we do start with all participants at the same place, and we assign them to one of the control groups, or the experiment or control. And for the non-game, the control group, our participant can read the information sets in any order they choose and as many times as they like. The game is a bit different. In there, the participant is primed with the plant provenance information. We want them to learn and to use that information to complete the game, to win the game. Then they go on to the game proper, where they're role-playing as a landscaper for a park that's being renovated. And their objective is to select the plant products and place them in the park to complete the renovation. In our game, we simulate risk through the lens of plant provenance. So our British plants hold the least imported risk threat level, whereas plants from other international locations, known hotspots of the threats we're interested in, do have higher risk ratings. Once the game is complete, we give the participant a ranking rating that is commensurate with the level of risk that they have introduced. So a 3-star rating and the title of Master Gardener means that no risk has been introduced to their park. They can play the game again if they wish, and they then go to the same information screens that the non-game treatment would have, and can read the information as many times as they like and in any order they so wish. All participants then rejoin, and we give them a 16-question quiz based on the information they've just learned. We also ask them a few questions about how they've enjoyed themselves and if they feel they've learned anything during their experience. And 3 weeks later, as we say, they then get the phase 2 survey quiz through online surveys that has a second round of 22 questions, comprising the original 16 in phase 1 and 6 new questions drawn from the same information set. And so we turn now to our results. We had 42 participants join us for phase 1, split between our game and non-game groups, and 23 who returned for phase 2, again split between our game and non game groups. In phase 1, we discovered that when looking at enjoyment, participants that reported a perceived knowledge gain of a lot compared to none are statistically significantly more likely to have an enjoyable experience. And in phase 2, for the original 16 questions that are common between phase 1 and phase 2, whether a participant enjoyed their experience at levels of enjoyed or very enjoyable compared to disliked, we see an impact or has an impact on them being more likely to have a winning score, that being more questions right than wrong. And when both question sets are combined, all 22 questions, only a reported level of enjoyment of enjoyed, again compared to disliked, was indicative of reaching that same winning state. And in both phases, we see no strong or consistent evidence that the game itself had any consistently significant impact on the ability of the participant to perform better than or enjoy themselves more than the non game treatment. And the same is true for negatively experiencing things as well. And there are some next steps we'd like to do. Firstly, we had some mobile issues and we'd like to fix that so people can participate on mobile devices. But more interestingly, we see enjoyment as an interesting variable to explore. And what does it actually mean? Do the types of game presented matter for enjoyment? What about the demographic of participant and matching that to the type of game? But also the medium. We used a web based game. What if we had a tablet based game in a botanic garden or a board game? What sort of impact might that have on enjoyment, and what impact then may that have on the ability to learn? And we think this is a really rich theme of future research. Thank you.